I'm Susan Hable. Welcome to Athens, Georgia, and come on in.
Susan, thank you so much for having us. Thank you for welcoming us to Athens. I have been an admirer of your work for so long. You are an artist, you have product collection, a product designer, you're a beautiful gardener, you've decorated your house so well, it's so collected. So I can't wait to share it with everyone and hear all about your process.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming all the way. I know, I guess it's a hop and a skip, right?
Yes,
so
easy,
it's not a long,
easy drive.
Not a long drive, but welcome. I'm glad you're here, and it is fun to share. It's actually fun to get the garden really refreshed, you know, and share, and also the house. So I'm tickled to have you.
You are a painter, and you've had a product collection and then a product collection with Garnet Hill and your own Hable construction for so long. And so many of your pieces are inspired by nature. So I am not surprised that your garden is so beautiful.
Oh,
and
thank you.
So maybe just tell us a little bit about the house.
Okay.
What brought you here, and you know, what drew you to it initially?
Well, the funny thing is, my husband bought the house without me knowing. Yes, and like I always like to say, and we're still married, 25 years later. The house was completely renovated 3 years prior to us moving here, and the garden literally was not a garden. So wow. You are seeing it in, I would consider it a mature stage. I'm happy because it can survive without too much watering, and you know, of course, I watered before you came, Caroline. I planted a few extra posies, but you know, I had not. My mother is a fabulous gardener, and my sister is as well. And we kind of have this competition. Of course, they don't have Georgia red clay, and I can grow a lot of things that they can't in Texas. And so I sent them pictures. I had a call, FaceTimed, and we walked through the garden, and they were just, oh my gosh, oh. You know, they were so excited, but also jealous. I was an apartment dweller. I lived in San Francisco and then New York City before moving here. And so I never had the opportunity. I just didn't even know that I had a green thumb. But I grew up with my mother gardening. I just never got to flex that muscle.
Yeah.
And so it has been, when I finished the inside of the house, because like I said, we had stripped this house down, to the studs, and the floors, the molding, basically. So the house is from the early 20th century.
Yes.
Around 1905. And the structure is a traditional Victorian cottage with the 4 rooms, the two on and a center hall. And we'll show you, I'll walk you through the hall, which is really interesting.
Fabulous.
And
yeah.
when we bought the house, there was a staircase that we removed.
Okay.
But the ceiling heights are the same. The staircase went to nothing. It was bizarre. Maybe a little attic. Anyway, we have pretty much kept the traditional shape of the house. We are in a historic neighborhood, so we had to keep very strict. Everyone is very aware and on top of historic preservation in Athens. So we, of course, wanted to preserve the home. But the garden itself was nothing. So I had a blank slate. And so what I always say is, once I finished the inside of the house, I moved my work to the outside of the house, which is itself almost like the work it takes to do the interior.
Yeah.
It is, and we're in the South. People take their gardens seriously here.
It is truly in its springtime splendor right now.
No, I told you, we
So.
nailed it on the time.
Yeah.
Maybe a few, I do see the buds. I told you my Peggy Martin, which Peggy Martin is the name of the climbing rose that I have on my gate. We'll go through and I'll show you. I'll make sure I point her out. I got a second one, so I always say that's her sister, Lucy. But it's when it's fully bloomed, it's literally like a band of hot pink.
Wow.
And that supposedly was a rose that survived Katrina.
Yes, yeah.
So I don't know all the stories of my roses, but I try to keep.
You have some really beautiful ones all throughout.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. I try so hard. Some years I'm not as, diehard rose girl, and then some years I feed them and really am on top of it. But it's a lot of work.
It seems like it would inspire your art and all of your different artistic endeavors. Is that
it? Really does.
Do you just go outside and?
I do. It's so funny. So the Garnet Hill collection, there are 2 floral patterns, and they are taken literally one day. I was painting, and I was planning another big painting, and I walked into the garden, and I have a couple of pass-along plants that some neighbors have given me, and I just strolled through the garden, which I do sometimes. Usually I've got my clippers and I deadhead roses. But it was almost like and this is pretty typically how I do it, it's like I'll take a snapshot with my eyes. And so whatever I remember, which these days it's like getting slimmer and slimmer, but whatever I remember, that's what I will draw or paint. And so it becomes more of an imaginative version of the real thing, because then it kind of keeps it more almost where you can't tell exactly what the flower is or the leaf. But anyway, the Garnet Hill collection is almost exactly taken from those paintings. But yes, I can go through all of my art and tell you kind of at what points or where I've planted or what I've planted that has cross-pollinated over into my other work.
Yeah.
And I have a painting show now, and 2 of the paintings in the show are going to be new fabrics.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't plan it that way. I had a friend come over who's an interior designer, and she said, I want that as a fabric. And I said, well, okay. I hadn't even thought.
You can do that. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, now with digital printing, I can do that.
So you have a furniture collection with hickory chair. You have your own fine art, original pieces. You have textiles, lighting. You have a bedding and apparel collection with Garnet Hill.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm missing something.
Just that we do make art digitally with a company called Switcher Marin.
Yes.
Yes.
Prints.
Yes.
Tell us about kind of the early days, a little bit of Hable construction, because I remember you have your bead print, which was sort of your most iconic pattern.
It's kind of our white, you would say, like your white t-shirt. It's our basic.
Yeah.
But it just, I use it, we're revamping it for some outdoor fabric. It found its way into this clothing line for Garnet Hill, as a matter of fact. It's just, I love polka dots. They're so joyful, and I kind of feel that, even my mom, when she wears polka dots, she's like, this just brings me such happiness, and it is a dot, but it looks like a strand of beads.
Where did that initial idea come from?
A strand of beads. I had this really great strand of pearls, and just in the discovery and the drawing, and then it became, we called it that, and then we did the reverse out and called that checker, because I was thinking, I played with Chinese checkers when I was a kid. We had a Chinese checkers board game, which is so interesting that, I don't know if you know that, it's just kind of back from the 70s.
I know checkers.
Oh, but it's a different.
Okay,
so you'll have to check that out.
Okay.
But anyway, so we called it checkers for that reason. And so we have the 2 versions of it. But yes, it is just it's the core to our collection.
Yeah. But it's very sculptural and it's organic, but it's also graphic.
Yes.
So
I know. It's like, how do you find all those things in one
And that's why it works, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, people work for years to try to recreate that. I always say it's kind of, I know there are famous architects that have said this and designers, and I've listened and I'm just like, it's so true, that the simplest things and those kind of iconic things are the hardest. Mm-hmm. And they come, but to mimic that is almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, I may work my whole life and never make another pattern that checks all those boxes.
Now your work is very organic. Mm-hmm. How did it evolve from that more graphic?
Yeah.
To
well,
what it is now?
That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that because I really haven't thought about that. We're renewing our textile collection because that's originally what we started with. Well, I had a dream, and the dream was that I would paint, and we would literally make fabrics from my painting, my art. I wasn't doing that at the time.
Yeah. So this was like 25 years ago?
27 years.
27 years ago, okay.
Well, probably about 26 of that because we started making other kinds of textiles, and it literally was a dream. And then we moved into a printing factory.
Wow.
That was a whole strange part of Hable back in those days. I mean, I can tell some stories from those days. We were the first women that had ever entered that factory, and we got a screen. So it was a hand silk screen printing factory, and those are the very last one, or at least ours, closed this year. Unfortunately,
wow.
That was, oh my gosh, well over 100 years old. So
wow.
It closed. This facility that I'm talking about where we lived is still open. It just runs at a very small amount. But we got one silk screen in our rent every month. So our fabrics were mostly one color because we could stretch our screens if we just did one color prints. So, you know, one color would mean that I could do the beads and the checker would be another screen. So that's two screens and that's two patterns. And so we had a business.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
And then we would create the others, but that's why everything in the beginning of Hable was so bare bones because of that.
Okay.
And so now with technology, I can have these elaborate patterns and so many colors because it's printed digitally.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I work to the original Hable patterns. We have a lot that are still in our collection. Just because it is, you know, they still sell. Mm-hmm. But I think it's that really spareness that I always thought it was more Scandinavian feeling. I think it was my Marimekko, my childhood Marimekko bedroom that probably influenced me that I didn't realize, you know, and my little brother's car sheets, you know, all Marimekko. That when we finally started doing textiles, you know, it was really spare, and that's what I loved. I still love that, but it is fun that I have a lot more room to spread my wings. Yeah. I can use a lot more color than I did in the beginning.
Yes, yeah. So let's go room by room because it opens up into your gorgeous hallway, which is so spectacular. You've got a beautiful wallpaper and these incredible chandeliers. So kind of tell us about the evolution of that space and what your initial inspiration was in there and kind of how it's evolved over the years.
Well, so it is true. Our house is very quiet and Victorian cottage from the outside. And then you walk in and it's, as we'll see, it is a grand hallway. There was a staircase. We took that out, but the ceiling heights were there. I think our ceiling heights are around 12 and a half. And I was taken by it. I mean, when we stripped it all down, it was vast to me. I mean, we had moved from New York, so my hallway was probably bigger than our whole apartment. but it's about 10 feet wide. And I thought, I want this hallway to feel like its own room. I mean, I've hosted dinner parties, I've made long tables, and the biggest challenge for me was finding the right lighting. And I have a dear friend in New York. His name is John Darien. He has beautiful shops.
Yes.
He's my brother, basically. I'm proud to say he's a dear friend. And I had gone to Brimfield shopping with him, and I had a friend who was a glass blower. I was trying to think of all the things because I thought, I've got to come up with something special. I will never change it, but the scale has to be right. I mean, it's just I thought, if we get this wrong, it will be a bust, And so we did all the shopping and looking, and, oh my gosh, I looked over everywhere. I talked to friends who were glass blowers. It was just kind of be outrageous. And I just thought, I just don't think that's going to even be big enough. And after Brimfield, I drove him back to his shop to drop him off, and it was nighttime, and the shop lights were twinkling on. And I literally turned my head and I looked, and at the very back of the shop were these 2 gold balls. And I said, "What are those?" And I said, do you have more of those? I need 4 of something. Remember, 4? He was like, well, actually, I brought those back from Tangier, Susan. And I think I may have a few more, but let me check. I have so many things in this house that have little funny stories like that. It's just so bizarre. But anyway, I've had dinner parties down the center. I've had lunches. It's like I've set up, with an assortment of chairs. And
so when did you add the wallpaper?
The wallpaper was, that was right out of the gate.
Okay. So you found the light fixtures first, and then sort of built around that.
Yes. Well, I needed the lighting and the wallpaper, so I knew I'd hang art on top of the wallpaper. And so originally, this paper was from the Noria Gallery in New York, and it came in another color, still is available. But I wanted to do this brown. It's like craft paper brown. And these interior designer friends of mine in New York were like, Susan, you don't want to do that. And I wanted wallpaper, but I wanted a blank slate. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it does those 2 things. It's a large scale pattern.
Yeah.
Because I knew that it needed to go all the way down the hall. That's a lot of pattern. So I wanted it to be quiet, but a pattern, hang all kinds of art on top, kind of be between, going between the world of modern, but I'm not really traditional, but I don't, anyway, I sit in maybe no man's land, but the wallpaper worked. And so then I built the hall from those 2 elements.
Yeah. I love the way the wallpaper has this organic feel, but then you've hung, frames all over it.
Yeah.
And so the frames add a angular element on top. So they balance each other so beautifully.
I feel like in London, so many people talk about European or British interiors. And I think that's what is so inspiring to me, is just this kind of carefree way of doing that. Oftentimes our interiors in the States are maybe more, things are put in a certain place and not ruffled. But I kind of feel like, let's just hang the art, keep collecting, let it, and it has morphed. I mean, and even we were hanging a piece this morning. My husband Pete was still hanging art this morning. He thought, I should put another picture up. And he was like, I don't really love this area. And I said, well, you can redo it after Caroline goes if you want to. So we're kind of always, it's ebbs and flows. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very thoughtful. If we bring something in, we don't just, we do like to collect, but we try to be very thoughtful.
Yeah.
I always encourage, we've bought student art. I have student art. I have my art. I have friends' art. I have, there's no pretense about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the fun part.
You have this this hallway that you know is a blank like it is a neutral, I guess, in many ways. And then you've got these 2 rooms off of it, which I know that they used to look different, so you'll have to tell everyone about that. And then you've got the darker rooms as well. So it sort of acts as a buffer between all the kind of other elements.
Yes.
Was that intentional, or is that just sort of how it's evolved over time?
No, I think actually from the beginning, I thought about color placement. These rooms used to be hot pink. Well, this room was pale pink, and then I had really wild hot pink wallpaper in this room that was so much fun. And I mean, it was just a whole vibe. I think I explained to you earlier that I felt that nobody really wanted to sit and relax in these rooms. They were definitely pretty to look at, but they were wild. And I went, maybe about 7 years ago, I went to Oaxaca, Mexico for a very short art residency. And all these interiors, I just have never wanted really to have white walls. That's just not me. But these interiors were all white plaster, and they were subtly modeled and kind of honed, not shiny, but then if the sun catches it, you could see the handwork. So I came home and decided to change these rooms to reflect that. And it actually still works with my intention, which when I originally did the house was the hallway would be the center, and it would be this neutral slate. And then each room is almost by colors. So Pete's office is the green room. We know exactly what that is. Then we had the pink, but now we've got this creamy world in here. And then we go further down the hall, and we have the blue room, which is really our den, living room, and then the kitchen off that, which is now pale pink. It used to be pale blue. So I have kind of changed the colors, repainted, refreshed here and there, but it's funny how the colors do. I think there is a flow, at least in my mind, there's a flow.
Yeah.
And then we have so many windows that I did consider when we first moved here, we didn't have all the plantings, but the blue room was because we have all the windows, and I thought we're gonna have so much sky.
Yeah.
And so it just is gonna be very blue. And so, as I've planted, the screens have almost come and worked with the room color choices. It's crazy.
You mentioned your trip your residency inspiring this room, but past the color, the white color palette and the plaster, what was sort of the initial furniture inspiration in here? Like, were these pieces already in the room and you just sort of reimagined them, or did you wipe it fully clean and kind of build this from your trip?
Well, no, I didn't wipe anything clean. I've never been there's definitely things that you put in that you're like, maybe over time it doesn't, or you get something else you love more. But I have been a very slow collector of furniture.
Yeah.
There were day beds in here that are now in the attic because they were Pete's, so that was all we had. When we moved in the house, we didn't have any furniture. So you're gonna laugh, but the children were really small, and so I had all this cardboard. I don't know if the company still exists, but there was a cardboard rocket ship and a cardboard lemonade stand, and we had every room. How I built, I'm not an interior designer, but how I built out our home, because we had no furnishings, is I started with the rugs, the drapery, and the wall color. And so I decided that if I had those things set and I loved all those elements, that the furniture would come. I had a sofa in New York that, I had nursed my babies on, and then vomit and the baby wonder, and that stayed in New York.
Yeah.
But so everything, so the furniture has just been collected. And it kind of, it's a bit of a hodgepodge. I do have some of my hickory chair pieces here, which, I'm tickled to have, but the other pieces are just collected along the way.
I love how you started with the rug and the wall and the drapery, because it seems like that might be how the average person would do it in reverse, right? They would start with the furniture, but you're right that if you get the wall color right and the curtains and you've got a great rug, you can kind of put anything on top of that in it.
Well, I just felt like then it's just beautiful. It could be spare. It can be, and my children were little, so they were on the floor, and this room, I can still remember that rocket, and you saw the picture upstairs of Lake looking through the little hole, and they were just, they could just run free. And we didn't have to even worry about, furnishings and I don't know. I had a friend that came over during that time. She said, "You really don't have furniture." And I said, "No." And I actually kind of like it this way. Now I feel like I almost have too much, but.
Well, it's laid out beautifully and so comfortable. You definitely took what I guess no one wanted to come into the pink rooms, and you've definitely made this space comfortable and inviting, and I can
thank you.
Definitely imagine wanting to relax in here. Yeah. The different pieces in the room, you definitely have an eye for more sculptural shapes. Is that, kind of your artist eye, you think?
No, it's funny you use that word, because that is exactly how I speak about my hickory chair collection, is that it's more sculptural. I think that's what keeps me apart from maybe others' work, is that there's usually a curve or a very, slight architectural line that, maybe is just unique to what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
I've seen it kind of happen over and over. But yeah, I know, I look around and I see in my funny things, the things also that have kind of landed back even into that collection. These are Italian, but they were from the Czechoslovakian embassy.
Oh, wow.
In New York. So it's funny, I have little stories about most of the things that I have that have found their way here.
Being a textile designer, I would imagine you just love textiles and you have so many patterns throughout. What sort of is your approach to mixing patterns and how to do that in a room?
Well, I do have my own textiles, but it's just like my own art. I don't have only my textiles.
Right.
I don't want all of my own things. It's like, I need to, it's just nice, the mix, to have the mix.
When you're designing your patterns,
think about my own home.
Think about the application.
Oh yes, I definitely think about the application. Now I do.
Right.
When I first started, it was, I didn't as much, to be honest. Now, because I'm working with furniture, and it's more applicable. Oh yeah, and I have friends that'll say, "I need a really small pattern for these dining chairs," and there's so much out there. When I've even looked for my own home, and it's a treat. But I think, oh my gosh, now I understand. It's just an education.
Right.
Oh, the scale. It's mostly about the scales for me.
Yeah. So how do you mix it? Because, you've got, like the blue room, for example, you have some
of my textile.
Yes, you have your pattern on the drapery. You've got sort of a stripe on the sofa, and then
which is another. It was a pattern that I did with a mill in London, so I did that. But then I have prints by another company on the little chairs, and I don't. Maybe it's more Garanimal style, but it's the blue room, so I kind of keep in that I keep in that colorway. But I will say this, I'm not really big on matching, so if it's the blue room, kind of my belief is any blue goes.
Got it.
So all the shades, and typically a warmer and a cooler. I mean, there are different, different hues and tones of the same color. I love green for that reason. I think you could have your whole house in green, just in different shades.
Yeah.
So I am very conscientious of that when I'm thinking about textiles. I mean, typically, people are so much about coordinating patterns and things matching, and I'm always like, no, it doesn't really have to match. I'm just like, throw that in there. The chartreuse on the sage, it's okay. It's like, look out your window, there it is.
Right.
Back to the garden.
Yeah. So in the blue room, it's intentional to use both warm and cool blues in every space. Okay.
Yes.
And then would you say the same about, say, whites?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just think, and honestly, I don't think at this stage I really have to think about it. I can oftentimes, even if you look here, I do have a little creamier high gloss on my trim to the plaster that is a little cooler on the wall. And so I do make those subtle shifts because I think it just creates more interest. Because if all of the woodwork was the same color, you wouldn't notice it. So it's the subtlety that makes it more interesting.
Is that how you would plan the colors on a canvas? Or how you would think about it, I suppose?
You do somewhat. I'm so glad I'm talking about this. These are great questions because I really haven't thought about it. I mean, I definitely think about color theory all the time. And I didn't tell you this, but I sat on a board that chose colors for the industry for almost 12 years. It's since closed, but I was a trend forecaster in New York, and I would go every summer and meet with a group of people who were all from different backgrounds, and we would use our expertise and create a color card that companies like Cotton Incorporated or, car companies would actually buy into to create their color palettes for 4 or 5 years in advance.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Our design team is always following those, Coloro and Pantone and all those ones. Yeah.
So the one that I did work for was the Color Association of the United States, and it has since closed just a year or two ago, which is so sad. I mean, really fabulous, but very bespoke and boutique color trend service.
You were talking about the greens, and I just wanted to, your husband's office, the green room, you've done that same thing in there where there's a darker green on the wall and a sort of brighter yellower on the trim.
Yeah. So that's a Farrow Ball color, which of course I love their colors because they're so heavily pigmented. I've also been known to use a Benjamin Moore because you can, there are so many fabulous paint companies out now.
Yeah.
So many. And so sometimes I always kind of go back to Farrow Ball, just their core palette, because I think it's just the bones are so good, if I think I've gotten maybe something, sometimes when you paint a wall, even I've painted so many rooms, but I still make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's easy to do. I have friends that make mistakes. We're just like, oh my gosh, can you believe? But it's just paint. You have to remember, it's just paint and we can change it.
Yeah.
But I chose that green. After I did it, he of course told me that he didn't really care for green. Of course, it's grown on him. He's been complimented many times.
And it's been there for 20 years, has it not?
Basically. And so he has grown to love it. He's a complete minimalist, so, he's had to bend to live with me. That paint, I just thought that was almost a neutral because there's so much. There's also a big bay window in there, and then he has his sun porch. It was originally a sun porch, so we built it in, and that's where his computer is and where he does a lot of his work. He does have a little sofa that he naps on. I see him occasionally under his cover, taking a quick nap. Nobody can see him. It's his secret spot that I'm totally now shouting to the world. So I painted that room green. I just thought, okay, this is such an easy thing to on the bay window. And yeah, I've got, the textiles, and then I really have a great rug. It was one of the first things that I brought in the house was that it's a green oriental rug, which you never find.
Yeah.
It's green and pink, which makes me think that it's from, I still don't know where it's originally from, but those are more Indian colors. So I'm not sure, but anyway, it works. It's fun, and I actually enjoy being in there. He likes it too.
It's a really pretty space. Take us through the kitchen, because you mentioned that you took out the staircase, the original staircase, added a second story, and then you built out the kitchen and the den, the blue room, off the back. So what was sort of your plan for the kitchen and what you were looking for in there?
So we did have a plan, because one thing, and as you know, there are a lot of houses, in New York the same. If you have a galley kitchen and you can't see, when my children were little, I wanted to be in the kitchen or doing anything that I could really see what was happening. And my parents have a very old home in Texas that has a keeping room off of the kitchen. And we literally, that's where everybody is, no matter if there's 30 people crammed in there or 5 of us.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to simulate that. And so the blue room is directly across from the kitchen, and the kitchen's pretty wide open. We do have our dining table in there, and then which goes out onto our sun porch, you'll see, because it's got so many wonderful Ballard items. But the blue room is directly across. So you can pretty much, it was just the flow. That's pretty much where most of our activity goes on in the house, and we can watch I can watch from the back. I could see the kids in the yard playing. So it all is kind of this vortex that I always say is the vortex of there's a flow back there.
Yeah. What were you thinking in terms of the way the kitchen was put together architecturally? Obviously you've got big tall cabinets, and you have the Victorian architecture in the rest of the house. So was that sort of guiding your choices back there?
Well, we wanted, obviously we were building a new kitchen, so we wanted to have the things that we knew we needed. My grandmother had this amazing pantry, this walk-in pantry, and so we created a walk-in pantry that is not exactly like hers. Hers was pie-shaped, which was really interesting, but it was knotty pine. And so Pete was really great with those, things that he wanted to, make some things that I really wanted. Obviously, we did that together. But always said that he really did more of the architecture in the exterior, and I was the interior person. We kind of had a deal. And so he did build out this great pantry. I'd love to show that to you. Even I try to keep it not messy. And then off of that is a laundry room that is actually really pretty, and it's got a huge sink where I do a lot of, if I'm watering my plants or doing any kind of work with flowers, I typically do in there. And it's just a really handy layout. We did try to think of the function of that entire kitchen and how that area would flow.
Yeah. Did you ever have, because you have your dining room in there or your dining table, did you ever have a dining room?
Yes, actually when this was the hot pink, this was a dining room. And we played games occasionally in here, but again, we never ate in here, and so it was not hard to just change it. We moved downstairs when the children got older and they needed their own bathrooms. upstairs became the kids zone, and Pete and I moved downstairs, and we actually considered these. I wouldn't say it's just ours, but we kind of thought, okay, the kids will be in the TV in the blue room, and then if we want quiet or we want something else, we'll come and be here off of our bedroom.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
It's not exactly worked that way, but you know, occasionally I'll see my son Lake completely sprawled out over here. You know, people. And Bird, when she's home from college, she comes in here often. Everybody finds I love that. Everybody finds a little nook. And I like that all the rooms are used. I didn't like the idea of a dining room not being used.
Yeah.
I know, like, we had 2 rooms in my house growing up that it was off limits. Don't go sit on the velvet sofa. Don't go to the dining room. You know, that's where Mimi's, you know, porcelain figures are, her yardrobe, or, you know, and so we were it was like, don't go. I just never wanted that.
Yeah.
Even my upholstery, I mean, I know, you know, I've always encouraged people, just decorate as you like. Don't, you know, now we're in a culture where everybody wants to put sombrella all over everything. And I definitely understand that, because I have a sofa right now that probably could use a little sombrella. So, and my daughter had a friend that literally every time she'd come to the house, there would be chocolate left. I mean, I'd say, oh, Char was over. There she was, a chocolate on the cushion, chocolate on the, you know, sofa. And I'd just feel like, oh my gosh. But I've always been like, you know, we're living.
Yeah.
Live the way, and I had a few bosses way back when I lived in San Francisco. Had this couple, they were bosses of mine, and they did a shoot for the New York Times, and they're wonderful. They lived in an old cake factory in Oakland, California, and they had hand sculpted a whole staircase from broken plates from the earthquakes.
Wow.
And I said, you guys are renters. Why would you ever do this? And they said, Susan, this is our home. It doesn't matter if you rent. If you own it, you should always treat your home the same no matter what. It's where you are. And so I've honestly taken that with me. I think the kids should know that, yes, that's a nice sofa. I mean, of course, chocolate fingers, I mean, that just needs to stay in another room. But when the children were little, I would set up a picnic. And this might be a good thing just to even pass on to you, because you have little people still. But we would spread out a blanket in the TV room on the floor, and it was like special. So then I knew that they wouldn't, you know, on the sofa like my husband and I do sometimes. But I went to my son's room the other night, and he had a blanket spread out. He's 18, and he had his food, and I said, do you have a picnic? He said, I do, Mom. And I mean, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe they're still going to be, and you know, we do have picnics. I mean, I was just like, oh, it kind of broke my heart. It was so cute. Killed me. But anyway, so yes. I've gone off. Oh my gosh, I've gone off so many times. Caroline, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you that I can tell some tales, so you have to cut me off.
No, it's a great story. Well, I do want to talk about the bedrooms a little bit, because you have a bedding collection.
Yes.
With Garnet Hill, and you have for many years.
Yes, I have so many Garnet Hill sheets. I'm a huge believer. They're fabulous.
Yeah.
I have not tried Ballard sheets.
That's okay. I love Garnet sheets too.
But I'm sure they're made probably in similar facilities and with the same care. I mean, that's the great thing about these companies.
Yes.
As you know, even with Front Gate, I mean, the level of can we just side note to quality check? I mean, people ask me all the time about Garnet Hill, and I mean, I sound like you've paid me to say this, but I swear you haven't. But the product are all made in high quality factories, and for years worked with amazing vendors. They're very particular, and that's one of the biggest things that, it's just something that I have been so proud of.
Yeah.
With working with them. So, you know, the product is such quality, and it's not made in like mass.
How has designing bedding, I guess, maybe changed or developed the way you made your
Influenced.
bed? Like, how do you think through building a bed and what's needed visually, but also functionally?
We've done bedding for Garnet Hill for so many years, and I've done holiday bedding and, summer and fall, flannel sheets. So all the seasons, and we've done blankets and quilts. So we have done many different layers, and I do think that all of those, I love to have the layers. I like sleeping in a heavy bed. Some people love, I'll put it this way. In Texas in the summertime, you do feel like you don't want a heavy bed. And even Georgia, I do shift my bedding. And I have seasonally.
Yeah.
And I can, and when I am designing the collection, we definitely take that into account. Garnet Hill takes that into account. We have developed really wonderful products based on the season, and I try to take into account, oftentimes we will talk about a region. Garnet Hill, we love the whole area and the kind of the northeast, the lakes and the waterfront. I always think about Maine, and I think about how dreamy that is, and we have a lot of coastal, like Georgia, the coast in Georgia. It's fun, but all those elements, really do play into developing a bed and the bedding collection.
Yeah. What do you like to mix patterns? Do you like
always, and I don't
white?
Match. I don't love matching. I love to have a pattern sheet and then a different pattern top of bed.
How do you pick those two? Like, if you were gonna suggest that to someone, what would you, recommend they think through before mixing the patterned sheet with the patterned duvet?
I do think, even if there's a hint of say blue, if there's a hint of blue in the sheet and there's blue in there's different scales of pattern. Typically a quilt, even an old-timey quilt, kind of goes with any printed sheet. I just always love that vibe, I love a cotton blanket that has interesting weaves. So we've done a lot of those with Garnet Hill over the years. And so there's pattern in the weave structure rather than in color. Yeah. And sometimes I will do a patterned sheet and then have a blanket, a cotton blanket that's interesting, or just something that is simple to break that, and then a duvet that might fold at the end of the bed just for added fun. Yeah. And then of course there's pillows, there's decorative pillows, it's just, I'm big on layering. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, whatever goes. It's also personal. Your bedroom is so personal. Yeah. The main thing that I hear and I'm very sensitive to, and I think about myself, is my bedroom needs to be peaceful. Whatever that looks like to me is really about me. Everybody has to find how they really want to feel in their bedroom. Do you want it to feel like a spa? Do you want it to feel like a vacation? Do you want it to be wild because you want to jump on your bed? It's like there's something for everyone. Yeah. Do you want it? A lot of people want their bedrooms to feel pretty. A lot of women do. And I understand that. Single friends, they're just like, I don't want any men's colors. I don't want any dark colors. I just want white and eyelet, And then you have the other rooms that they're just like, no florals. We want more geometric. And so all of those things come, you just wouldn't believe how many things there are to think about when building that. We do like to think of the woman who is the Garnet Hill customer. We like to really think of her, but then, that's why they have outside other designers and that we work together for so long, because it's a collaboration, it's a conversation. It's, we look at color palettes and let that kind of drive us in different ways, and maybe things that are trending, but not so much. we like to create the trends, not follow them.
Yeah. What about your outdoor, your garden areas? We talked a little bit about it at the beginning, but you have that sun porch off of the
kitchen.
And then you've got tons of outdoor rooms. Did you have a master plan at the beginning? Did you just sort of do a little bit over here and then do a little bit over here? Like, how did the garden evolve in a way that it's kind of gotten to this mature place?
Well, that is one thing that I didn't have any knowledge about, is the Georgia pollen and the bugs and the heat. I mean, I know heat in Texas, there's so much alfresco dining, I think I just didn't really understand about the pollen. I mean, what I love so much about the blooms, and I mean, right now it's just on fire. Everything's blooming in Athens. It's kind of like our Blue Ridge moment where the trees turn, and everyone's like, oh, go see the trees, the fall is here. Right now, we are in, our high season of beauty, spring in Georgia, which is my favorite time. I mean, the minute I see one little bloom or one little leaf come off of my maple, I'm just like, oh, winter is over.
Yeah.
Or it's coming to an end. But we needed inside an enclosed area, and I still am. I'm still working on that because the pollen, it's intense.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
There's no way around it unless you close it all up, and that's what we haven't done. Is so our screen porch is really in its peak right now, and you'll see it's fabulous. I think I'll be there for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have to shift and do something else, move inside for a little bit. But we do have a ceiling fan. I mean, you make allowances.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Out there in the morning.
Yeah. It's great to have coffee on.
Yeah.
And I have to say we do. Sometimes we'll sit on the front porch. But my husband and I will have a visit. He makes me a great coffee every morning. His specialty, I always say I have my own personal barista. And so, so those are when we really use those spaces. I think in the morning time is the best.
Well, the garden is just, you have such beautiful spaces, both to sit in and enjoy, but also just to walk around. And I love seeing what inspires your art, because so many pieces are botanical and floral and organic, and you can really see how the shapes from your garden make their way into your products and your fine art, and so it's a real treat to see it all.
I'm so glad. Well, what's really fun is I don't stop often and just enjoy it, and this has definitely, I went through the garden last night and I was like, wow, I wish it looked like this all the time. Let's be real life, it doesn't, or I see only the weeds. But I'm just tickled to show you and have you come and enjoy. And it's a treat when people haven't been here, and then I can actually take a beat myself.
Yeah. You've really created this dreamy space out of what I think you and your husband described as sort of like it was falling down when you found it. So you've really brought it back to life and made it this incredible escape in the middle of a busy neighborhood. And it's so quiet though.
I know. It's funny, but I'm tickled that it's worked out like this.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
For more conversations like this one, be sure to subscribe to Ballard Design's podcast, How to Decorate, anywhere you get your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a house tour like this one.